Thank you, conference. Thank you very much for the invite to share with you what Greggs is doing to encourage healthy food on the go options. Fair to say, a number of years back it might have been a short conversation. I hopefully can bring you up to date with some of the initiatives. I think the red thread all the way through this conversation we're having today is how we're listening to our customers, responding to our customer needs as well. Greggs, for those of you who haven't heard of us, have been operating in the UK for, will be 80 years next year. We are born out of a traditional baker in the northeast of England, very much famous for our sweet products and also for our freshly baked savoury rolls and steak bakes. Over the last few years we've been going on a journey to become a relevant food-on-the-go retailer, and we want to be the nation's favourite food-on-the-go retailer. We have 21,000 employees, close now to 1,900 shops, and we operate in all parts of the UK, including Northern Ireland. Turnover last year was 960, 7.4% profit, and underpinning that is a lot of the work that we do with positive impact on people's lives, what we give back into our communities and also to our employees. We do believe we're a responsible business. This is part of our business strategy. We have 4 clear pillars on growth, and underpinning that we want to make a positive impact on people's lives, where we have 5 key things that we look at. Each one of those is led and is accountable to an ops board director. So I look after and lead the teams in what we call CHARS, customer health and responsible sourcing. There's a lot of good initiatives across all of the 5, but today, of course, we'll focus on most of the things that we're doing on customer health. So the background really for Greggs is obviously the background we've been talking about today, the obesity crisis, but also very relevant to where Greggs was in that. As a traditional baker, as I say, we probably didn't have a lot of healthy choices on our menu. We really didn't have a lot of conversation time on the healthier options. So there really was a need to move on as we moved into a food-on-the-go menu. Also, a lot of the press that we attracted, rightly so, focused on the unhealthy parts of the, or unhealthier parts of the menu. And I think we have only one hospital shop, that is in New Cross, Wolverhampton, and I think it came to a surprise to many that was actually one of our most successful shops in our business, considering the product range and the location. And of course the chief executive of the trust had a few things to say about that as he underwent the NHS review of who operates within their hospitals. So we started something off about 5, 6 years ago, really asking the customers. We always ask our customers. We have a fantastic customer insight team based in Newcastle. So we are asking our customers every month. It's an ongoing question and feedback session with them. But back then we asked just, what are the good things about Greggs? 10 is great and 1 is not. And as you can see, things like freshly baked food was really up there about the things that Greggs do well. At less than 7 was range of healthy products. So our customers were telling us quite clearly that they loved the products that we sell, but actually when we had the conversation with them, they would like to shop more frequently with us. But one of the things that was not allowing them to do that, there was not the permissibility, was we didn't have healthier choices in the range. So it was very clearly a call to action for the teams. So we decided to pull together a balanced choice range to complement the other parts of the menu. We had a number of criteria that we said we really need to meet for it to be called balanced choice and to be labelled as balanced choice. First one I think is really important. It was about taste, because it's food on the go. Customers will come back if they're enjoying the product, so taste is key. Also, we said that from the traffic lights point of view, we should have no reds in there. So it should only be green or amber on the traffic light systems for fat, saturated fat, sugar, salt, etc. And nutrient profile should be suitable for advertising with children. And it should all be under 400 calories. So those became, if you like, the pillars for balanced choice. We launched it in 2014. It's got 41 products as of today in the range. Remember, we are a small box retailer, not a supermarket. We're a small box. You know, typically we'll have somewhere between 100 and 150 products within our shops. The range we quickly expanded out to beyond sandwiches, introducing salads, fruit and yogurt, drinks, porridge, soup, and savoury products. So we actually did develop a savoury product that fits that criteria. And the sales of the range are now up to over £100 million per year. So I think that's an indictment that our customers are certainly coming to Greggs for those healthier choices. As a food-on-the-go retailer, day parts are really important to us. Customers will be in a shopping mission with us to refuel for breakfast, for lunch, and also for afternoon. So as well as being the nation's favourite for the bacon butty, we also wanted to make sure at that day part we could introduce healthier options as well, hence the porridge, the drinks, fruit pots, etc. For lunch, we introduced things like flatbreads into the range, reformulated all of our wedge pack sandwiches, introduced sandwiches. All of our soup is balanced choice and gluten-free. And as I mentioned, we brought in sourdough pastry to complement the range and to bring it into the balanced choice criteria. Many of those products are actually in deals as well, because one of the things is, does healthy choices have to be more expensive? The answer to that is no. Should healthy choices be part of deals? The answer to that is yes. And you know you can buy a soup and a savoury there for £2.25 in a two-part deal, or you can buy a sandwich and a balanced choice drink for £3 in a two-part deal. And that's quite important for us. We also needed to bring in healthier snacking as well. Our till points, because we are a small retailer, a small box retailer, we are fresh and we serve over the counter, does mean that when you approach our till points, we do have savoury products and sweet products. That's a bit of a problem for us, but actually it's very difficult in that box to do anything different. So we have introduced healthier options such as fresh fruit and healthy snacking such as some of the fruits and the nut products as well, and they're selling well. All of the drinks that we sell in Greggs that are branded Greggs have no added sugar. That's something we did 2 or 3 years ago. And that's put us in a good position, obviously, for the sugar tax next Friday. As well as doing that, I think the other thing, how do you encourage healthy food-on-the-go choices? You have a menu, yes, so you've seen the work that we've done in the menu. I've passed over a lot of the work that we had to do with mayonnaise, that we had to do with creme fraiche, that we had to do with pastry products as well. There's a huge amount of work that the technical teams and the product development teams had to do for that. I think we're in a very fortunate position in Greggs because we are vertically integrated. So we actually manufacture a lot of the products and the ingredients that go into our shops. I believe that that gave us competitive advantage in terms of going faster than some others may be able to. But then the journey becomes, how do you engage with the customers? So of course we have the nutritional leaflets that are in all shops. That's important with all the nutritional information. At every ticket we have the kilojoules, kilocalories. That's important, and part of our marketing strategy is that we will always have a balanced choice message on our current marketing campaigns, which will mean salads will be in the window, or it will mean soup will be in the window, or a balanced choice sandwich will be one of the key messages always on when it comes to marketing. But the last part down at the bottom there is actually what we do on the app. So we have a Greggs app. It's a loyalty app driven by customers on coffee, but it gives the customers a lot of information. The most sought after information is, where are your shops? Outside of that, we've also put on the nutritional information, because again, we freshly bake and freshly make things in our shops. It's not operationally possible to put on the information on every single packet of products, of sandwiches, etc., because we actually make them in shop and pack them in shop. So we give the customer the opportunity to look on the app before shopping, during shopping, and actually see all the nutritional values of all the products within our shop. And as a result, we are seeing that the media coverage is changing. Now, the media coverage is important because it means that there's a conversation happening. And that's important in terms of bringing the consumer along the healthier options path. The other thing that we can see is that obviously that sales are rising on the healthier products, which is another big positive in terms of the conversation with our customers to encourage more healthy choices. But we needed to go beyond that, because it is about engagement and it is about activation. And yes, you can put menu in your shops. Yes, you can put a meal deal on. Yes, you can put marketing in windows. And yes, you can put things on your app. But you need to continue the conversation and to continue the activation. So we did a PR campaign where we had 4 customers who joined us on a journey of a Greggs diet. Now, it wasn't really about trying to encourage people to go on a Greggs diet. It was really about trying to raise awareness of the healthier options and how you can have balanced choices all the way through your working week. Because we know that food on the go customers haven't got a lot of time. They haven't got a lot of time for those choices. That's why we have a really active part to play in making those choices available to them easily. So we did this campaign. It got a lot of great press. We got 179 pieces of high value media, which my PR team tell me means that there was an opportunity for 78 people to read about this campaign. We got very much focused on the work-life balancers, one of the key segments, customer segments walking in the door, which was great. The website had 600% more traffic as a result, and the video was viewed over 5 million times on YouTube. Hopefully tonight, 5,050,000 times on YouTube. So that was good for us. And actually, the 4 that were on the diet, yes, they lost some weight, they lost some inches around the waist, which was fantastic. They had fun, which was great. But the bigger conversation was really with the 5 million who watched it on YouTube, with the 78 who may have engaged with it and who were now having a conversation. And that was encouraging healthier choices. And that's important. And you can see the titles, a wide array of standard media as well, who picked up on this story. Another great indictment of how you can start the conversation and encourage the healthier choices. The public reaction was great. People knew it was a PR campaign. You know, the public know. But again, the public appreciated the fact that we were engaging in that conversation on health. And again, that was encouraging healthier options within the food on the go. We continue to develop the range. This summer coming up, we've got new, fresher ingredients coming through in terms of our salads. We're launching a vegan product as well in the range. There's more vegetarian within the range. And we're also bringing in healthy snacking items, chilled items as well, all fulfilling the balanced choice criteria. The other thing outside of the balanced choice is what we call healthier choices, because not everything in our shops can be called a balanced choice, but we actually think the healthier choices. So, for instance, water cannot be called balanced choice, but I think you might agree that it's a healthy choice. So when you look at those type of products, plus actually things like Diet Coke, which have no reds in there, or Coke Zero, etc., things like that, healthier options to the full fat red, then the sales go up to close to $250 million, which is a big number, and one that we will continue to develop, encouraging our customers. And to be fair, both Balanced Choice and Healthier Choice products are growing faster and creating incremental sales for Greggs, which is, again, the customers being encouraged to purchase those products. And when we ask about awareness and health credentials, then you can see the curve is in the right direction from our customers, telling us that they can see more healthy choices. But it doesn't stop inside the shops. 21,000 employees is a brilliant opportunity to encourage healthier options as well. And so within Greggs, we have a Balanced Due campaign, a Balanced Due work stream. And that's looking at things like healthy eating and drinking with our own employees, keeping active, physically well, positive mental well-being, staying social. All these things we bring to life with our own team so that they can be the evangelists. They can go out and talk to their families. They can go out and talk to their friends about healthy lifestyles. And we're pleased to say a lot of the work we do does get recognised outside of ourselves. Time to Change employees, we did the pledge for World Mental Health Day, and we were awarded Better Health at Work in the North East where we are based, North East of England where we're based. Touching on Allison's 20% sugar reduction, we definitely see that we have a part to play. We're very much engaged in that. Again, because we're vertically integrated, we are bakers. It gave us a great opportunity to get ahead of the curve on that because we know how to put a cake together and put a biscuit together. We know what ingredients go in. We know why we put sugar in, and we know how we can take sugar out. We have been working very hard on that. And in the first year, we've taken about 10% of sugar out of the categories that we're in, which is a good start. One of the key ones was cookies, where we took 20% out. And to Alice's point, we've been very much focusing on the big selling lines. Currently, we've just passed the sweet mince pie for Christmas, because we will sell quite a number of millions of those. So it will still taste like a sweet mince pie, but it won't have as much sugar as it has done in the past. Now, I also wanted to touch, if I may, just on the Healthier Shop format, because again, that's all about encouraging healthier choices. And we've been working in that one hospital shop that I mentioned down in Wolverhampton, New Cross, along the government sequin guidelines that was launched in January 2017. We did a lot of work. We visited down there and did a lot of work in terms of the menu, how we promote things, what you cannot promote, what you cannot stock, and also the look and feel of the shop as well. So when we did all that, we actually came joint top of the sequin guidelines, which we were delighted with in terms of the range of products that we can offer in that shop. So with guidance, we listened and we changed our menu. We excluded a number of things from deals. We don't sell any sweet products over 250 calories. We have healthy, balanced choice deals in that shop. And that's what's got us to the top of that sequin guidelines, and we continue to work with the sequin guidelines as they move year on year. So that was also encouraging healthy choices within the workplace. This is what we looked like before. It was kind of the old look of Greggs. There was a canteen, if you think, in front, with tables and chairs. And actually what you can see there is that we sold things like crisps, which we've completely taken out because of the high sat fat. And we had big boxes of donuts, which I'm not quite sure where they went to, but we completely took all those donuts out as well. And we had a fresh new look. We also put in some refrigeration at till points so that we could actually get the fresh fruit, fresh salads, etc. at till points. We stripped down the drinks range to comply. We stripped down the hot sandwich range to comply. And actually, been really well received. Yeah, the first couple of weeks, you've got to remember a lot of the customers in that shop were actually the staff. So they come in for their favourite things every week that they had got for the last 10 years. So there was a little bit of noise, but of course with that we just had the conversation. we explained it. They really did get it, and they've changed their buying patterns. It's still one of our best-selling shops in the estate. And we hope to work with NHS England on more. We were obviously talking to NHS Scotland, and we have been talking to NHS Wales as well, just to bring everybody into this conversation and show the art of the possible if we work together on these agendas. And I think I'll leave it really with what David said, who was the chief exec of the Royal Wolverhampton Trust. I think it shows the journey that we've been on, and it was very nice and kind of him to say those words. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Malcolm. And I think that was a good example of the practical application by Greggs of a lot of the things that Alison has been speaking about in terms of sugar reformulation, calorie reduction, etc., and very much about how you do that in a way that you take your customers with you on that journey, and the novel approaches that you've used to do that. So I think that was a really useful and insightful practical example of that. We've got a couple of questions coming up on the board. There might be some. We've got Alison. Alison in the front row has a question for you.
I haven't really got a question. I just wanted to say we really applaud what Greggs have been doing, and I think it's a great example of a company kind of rethinking itself a little bit. And of course you've got stuff to do. And things like including the mince pies, sweet mince pies, is actually really important because companies would quite like us to take seasonal products out of their programme. And actually we've got so many seasons now, not quite sure where to begin and end. Mm-hmm. But I just want to say 3 cheers, really.
Thank
you. Right. Right up at the back, lady in the green top.
Yeah, Melanie Hargraves, BNF. I just wondered, your Balanced Choices range, is that available in every Greggs store, or is it just in your flagship ones?
No, it's available now. It's available now. Obviously, it depends on the range. All 41 might not be available now just because of the size of shop. It ranges between 100 and 150 products, so we make some choices, but the majority of the products are in every shop. Yeah.
There's a gentleman right up at the very back who's keeping our microphone operatives nice and fit up and down all these steps.
Hi, David Burrows. I'm a journalist. You said that sales of the Balanced Choice range were around £100 million, I think, and your overall sales are around 960 million.
Yeah.
That's only a tenth, obviously, of around a tenth of all sales. Where do you hope to be in the next 5 years in terms of the makeup of Balanced Choice versus the rest of your sales?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, you're right on the numbers. It's gone to about £101 million as of last year, and we've got a target. We'd like to keep putting £10 million onto that each year. It's very much a stretching target. We might not achieve it, but that's why we're really focusing on some of the product development to ensure that we broaden the range, inclusive in deals to continue to drive those sales. So stretching target, not always achievable, but we're going to do our very best to keep driving those sales.
I'm going to take a question now from the board. Top one there. Are Greggs staff encouraged or incentivised to promote the healthier options and not the less healthy ones? And if not, would you consider doing that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the answer is we can do more on that. I think the engagement with our teams on everything we do with health and well-being does make them champions, if you like, of healthy eating, healthy drinking, etc. So we hope that comes across in all the conversations. We're not really a sort of trade-up business as such. Our meal deals are only 2 items and not 3 items. We don't encourage people to go for that 3rd item. But I always think that the teams themselves grow with the more that they know about the products and they know about the benefits of them. But I always think we can do more, definitely.
That maybe links to another question that's popped up there about would Greggs actively support a marketing campaign designed to encourage consumers to buy and eat fewer unhealthy foods on the go and avoid upsizing and upselling? I think if I've interpreted you correctly,
Yes.
you're saying that's not something.
Yeah, we don't. We're not part of the sort of the 3-item at lunch type deal. We actually stepped out of that probably about 4 years ago, just as I was coming in the business. I think because of all of our balanced choice sandwiches, for instance, are in the £3 deal, then you can buy a healthy drink and a balanced choice sandwich within those deals. And as I say, even within the soup and the balanced choice savoury deal, you can buy those 2 items for now £2.25. So again, I think there's great price points, and the value is reflected in the deal at every day part. So hopefully we're encouraging the positive as opposed to discouraging across the other parts of the category.
There's a question first for Celia and then for Daniel. Front here.
Thank you, that was really inspiring. I'm wondering what your views are on the movement in the wider industry, in the out-of-home industry, whether there's a general movement in the direction that Greggs has taken, or is there more need for a push so that others also embark on that journey? Where are we at and where are we moving towards?
Should I comment on others?
In a generic sense,
In a generic
perhaps.
sense, yes. I think there's a lot of work to do in the eat out of home and the QSR arena, absolutely. I think that a number of companies are embracing it. I actually think that, for instance, the targets of 20% sugar reduction really focus the mind on that. And I think that's very helpful. I think that the sugar tax, if you look at the evidence there, is a huge amount of work has been done by the soft drinks industry to achieve what they've done for next Friday, But there's still far more to be done, and I think we should all encourage those that are trying hard to change. I think the 20% reduction in calorie is another one that's really going to focus the mind. I mean, we're just obviously now debriefing, we're starting to understand the real detail of it. We are in a number of those categories. So, for instance, our savoury rolls and savoury pastry, those are covered. So, 20% reduction. We have to start to think really hard now about how we take our skills as a baker to bring those calories down. The good thing is we embrace those challenges, and we've got a great team that we think can rise to those challenges.
And I think that does
There's a business case for movement in this direction generally.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. If you look at it, then £101 million sales in balanced choice. Those sales have been growing faster than the non-balanced choice sales. So one would say that that's probably encouraging new customers to come into Greggs, or core and top customers to come in more often and have those. So if those are incremental sales, you've probably got to assume that there's an incremental profit from driving sales. Yeah.
And I think in your answer there, Malcolm, you've touched on probably the answer to the question at the top of the screen there. What work has been done to reformulate or create healthier bakery items? And I think that's just what you've described in terms of, that's the next challenge for you in terms of how you start to do that to address the calorie reduction requirements. I'm going to go to Daniel now. I know he's got a question. Daniel Kleinberg in the front row here.
The Scottish Government's health improvement team.
Did it die? We always have a spare.
Hi, Daniel from the Health Improvement Team in the Scottish Government. I thought that was really good, just really good to hear, and working with the grain of the industry to get to how people eat in Scotland, which is fundamental to what we're going to try and do. I had 2 questions, a tricky one and an easy one, but given I'm speaking later, I'm going to set the precedent of asking you the easy one now and the tricky one over coffee. I was really fascinated by how you work with your staff, because I think of one of the biggest assets we've got in the health service and social care, 160,000 staff. I don't know how well we speak to them about their health. So have you seen business benefits to how you're working with your staff to talk to them about these options and their health?
I can only really speak anecdotally on it because it's a relatively new programme, probably 2 to 3 years old now, and we keep developing it. You know, we started off with the healthy eating and the hydration. We're moving on to mental health and being able to talk about those issues, and we've done a random acts of kindness, you know. So when we look at our employment opinion survey, it's certainly really recognised by our teams that this is a better place to work, and enjoying working for Greggs as a result of some of those initiatives, and that the company cares about the employees, and I think in the longer term it can only have positive benefits for all. I myself now go to yoga, and I can now do a down-higged dog, which I couldn't do 3 years ago. So there's definitely personal benefits.
So my really tricky question is, do that now?
Yes.
Thank you.
And I think that, in a sort of similar theme, I think the question at the top of the board now is, do you know what motivated Greggs to adopt such, I suppose, a brave and a bold and such a holistic approach, and quite a radical approach to changing the business model of what was a long-established business?
Customer. Mm-hmm. It was actually listening to those people that came into our doors and asking them the question, you know, what do you want from Greggs? You know, and if you don't listen to that as a retailer, you die as a retailer. Mm-hmm. And we continue to listen to it, but the absolutely baseline here was to, be the favourite of food on the go. And to be the favourite, we really had to embrace what the customer wanted.
Any more hands in the room? We've got another question on the board. I'm just seeing if we've got anybody else in the room at the moment. Okay, up on the board now. So how are you supporting the younger members of your customer base who choose your products at lunchtime over and how do you encourage them to have your products instead of a nutritious school meal, to encourage, again, them to have a more healthy approach to their diet?
Younger customers, as
yeah, so younger customers. The question says younger customers, so I'm assuming school children. I don't know if there's any quantification of that age group, but I guess we're probably talking secondary school age children, if they're the ones that tend to leave school at lunchtime and make their own choices. Yeah,
one of our core customer segments is what we call young, free and social, 16 to 24. So we're very much in touch with that age group and trying to understand particularly what they want from Greggs as a food on the go. We have a lot of engagement through that group as well in terms of social media, and as they leave school and go into universities, we do a lot of work in freshers fairs as well. Some of the students deal that we do have healthy options in the students deals as well, and we actively promote balanced choice at freshers fairs. I think maybe for if it's the secondary school type thing, that's not an active catchment that we are looking to target as such, but by having more healthy choices available, that's obviously, as I think Alison said, the young adults as such are buying food that we are buying, so if we have healthier choices, then the young adults will enjoy those healthier choices as well.
Absolutely. Right. We've got another question up at the back from our... and this one at the front as well. We'll come to you next, Alex. Thank you. I'd never make an auctioneer quick enough around the room.
Just wondering if you do, just following on from that, if you know the percentage of your sales that are to 11 to 16-year-olds, and whether you'd support Alison's earlier suggestion that there needs to be greater restrictions on advertising, perhaps especially through social media.
The answer to the first part of the question, specifically 11 to 14-year-olds, is no. We don't. Obviously, it's very difficult. A lot of our transactions are cash-based because of the average transaction value. So therefore, we can't look and see who's purchasing it. The second part of the question, I think, is that the current standards for advertising to young people we completely endorse and comply with. And I think if it was deemed that there is a benefit to developing those, then we would still be in favour of those, absolutely. Does that answer the question then? Yeah.
And we've got a question here from the front row.
Hi, I'm Heather Peace from Food Standards Scotland. You said that your consumers had driven this change in Greggs. I'm just wondering if there's something very special about Greggs consumers compared to consumers of other on-the-go food providers. In other words, can other people do the same as you, or are your customers so very different?
I consider all of our customers very special.
Good answer.
I suppose the follow-up is though that we do know in food on the go that the majority of food on the go customers shop in about 8 different brands. So I don't really believe there's a dedicated Greggs customer out there. I think that we are part of a much wider choice, and therefore, you know, the other brands can equally do a lot of things to engage customers and to encourage healthier options as well.
And we've got a question for a gentleman up at the top. Yeah. Keep running, Alex.
I know, I'm
Thanks for that. That was really interesting. One thing that occurred to me was I just wondered what proportion of your customers use your app, and whether the younger segment of your customer base might use that more, and might therefore be a good opportunity to find out what they do, what they prefer, what they're buying, and how you might also be able to target them with positive messages.
Yeah, the percentage, I guess, of transactions on the app is still relatively low. But when you look at it as a number of tens of thousands every single week, then it adds up to a lot of people using the app. And you're absolutely right. One of the things in this industry, food on the go, is that it's very qualitative. The information that we have, and my earlier question and answer on do we know who shops. We do really know who shops on the app, you know, who uses the app, who uses it to scan for coffee, or just who uses it to have a prepaid fast service. And that's given us some real insight. And again, we can look at our 6 segments and we can really see that the young, free and social and the work-life balancers are over-indexing on that type of app. Working with us, we can therefore really see what menu products they're buying and when, by day, by season, by time of day. And I think that information has definitely given us more insight to deliver the right menu for the younger customers coming into our shop, which hopefully we can retain as they become young, free and social, become work-life balancers, etc. You know, we really want to keep them coming into Greggs, you know, as they mature as well and go into the working environment.